So we're here with Jenny Ranft, and as many of you know, Jenny is with Wentworth Housing, and we thought we would catch up with her as to how things are going, especially in these COVID times with the issues around homelessness within our region. So g'day, Jenny. How are things in this time and place? Let's start off talking about for your clients. Has this been any different to any other season for your clients?
Hi Graham, hi Lee. Hello everyone at home. Lovely to be with you. Yes, I work for an organisation that's now called Link Wentworth. We've recently merged, so we're kind of a bit bigger than we were before. And hasn't COVID changed the world? For clients, to start with clients, it significantly increased mental health for a lot of our clients who are experiencing homelessness. So anxiety through the roof. Some people have gone down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. Other people, interestingly, have used this crisis to actually seek treatment, maybe for the first time. So it's been tough, and not having a home feels particularly unsafe when you know that everybody's being told that staying home is the only way to keep safe, and you don't have a home. You feel even more vulnerable than you did before.
And I understand there might have been just a small silver lining to this pandemic in terms of resources that are being provided for homelessness services.
Yeah, absolutely right. The government's initiated a big program called Together Home, and it provides subsidy for accommodation, private rentals for up to 2 years, and case management support. So we're supporting people through our pre-existing programs, the specialist homelessness services, and we've also got packages for support and housing through Together Home. And that's been fantastic, because it means that people for the first time are actually getting secure, safe accommodation, and that housing first, that home becomes the platform from which they can start to build wraparound supports and reconnecting with family, sorting out employment, getting identity documents, even so that you can sort out income support. All of that kind of stuff becomes possible. So I can think of a couple that we met 8 months ago who had both been to jail, both been victims of, and one of them a perpetrator of domestic violence, in and out of mental health facilities. And the young woman had had 3 children removed by community services and was pregnant again. When we got them a home and were able to provide that solid case management support and get them some proper assessments, we found out there was epilepsy, there was autism, there were all sorts of health diagnoses that had been working together with long-term complex trauma from abuse backgrounds that explained why they were having such difficulty meeting the challenges of life, and explained why they were behaving the way they were behaving. So they're now completely drug and alcohol free, no incarceration, been in a stable home for 8 months. They're getting that psychological support, and they're getting the medication and treatment that they need for those organic diseases. Their baby is now 5 months old, and Child Protection have closed the case. They say they're doing brilliantly. Baby's meeting all its milestones. And the fella's mowing the next door neighbour's lawn because he's a bit old and I think he needs a bit of help. So
it's a fantastic story, Jenny, and it sounds like that the pandemic has stimulated a better understanding between health and homelessness.
Yes, indeed. The evidence has been there for years. Finland has been doing, it's the only country in the world where homelessness has been reducing, not increasing. So the evidence has been there, but there hasn't been the political will. And now for the first time, the pandemic and the fear about people being homeless and infecting other people, that fear has actually generated a program that they're taking. They're using the evidence base for, and we're now seeing the results, and all those results are being recorded and aggregated up at the state level. So we're now generating evidence from within the state, and so there was the first tranche. Then in the second lockdown, we've now got the second tranche, and we've just heard there's likely to be an ongoing program. So it is a silver lining.
So some good news.
Yeah.
However, I understand the issue of, in terms of the longer term, of getting these folk into more long-term housing, that within our region in particular, there is very little in the way of available housing stock.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's exactly right. The standard for a reasonable rental market is between 3 and 4% vacancy rates. If you've got that, you can generally find somewhere that's affordable within a few weeks or a month or so. Our vacancy rate in the Blue Mountains is 0.7%. So one of my caseworkers was in an open house queue just before lockdown, because they're all virtual now, of course. And there were 20 people in front of her, and she knew the real estate agent because we rent other properties from him. And he came up and he said, gosh, Tony, just go home. Like, honestly, the first 2 people have already offered me $30 a week over the asking price. And they're fully employed. There is no way the landlord's going to look out one of your people. Yeah. Go home, don't waste your time. And that's just so typical. So we're finding it really, really tough to get people housed in the mountains, because the long-term solution is more social and affordable housing. Yeah. And there's just such resistance to affordable housing in the Blue Mountains. It deeply shocks me every time I read it in the paper. The stigma that goes with that, and there's no commitment from the state government to increase social housing. So I'm kind of riding the how fantastic is this silver lining, and all the people that we work with, we're finally managing to get housed. But there's this cliff looming in 2 years' time. When the subsidy will run out, and if there's no new social housing, and all the other people who are on the waiting list, not just our service, but people who are on low incomes and have health problems and need subsidised housing, there's nothing on the horizon in terms of increase. So Everybody's Home campaign, that's the go and be a click warrior. Look up everybody, Google Everybody's Home, Kate Colvin, you'll see her on the news from time to time, and vote for more social housing.
Yeah, so that's certainly one area of advocacy and prayer that we need to be conscious of. To finish with, are there any other particular issues that it would be good for us to be aware of?
I think one of the things that we find when we house people is that they often don't come with very much. They may have been fleeing domestic violence, they might have been couch surfing, and therefore don't have things. They may have been rough sleeping. So some people have a bit, they might have a bit stored in a friend's garage somewhere, but some people don't have much. And we're able to help with some basics, with some white goods and a bed and whatever we can do, repayable loans, no interest, stuff like that. But a bit of home comfort, something that makes it feel personal, that's a home, like a quilt or a throw or a cushion or something that kind of feels welcoming and makes a place feel home. That's the kind of thing that we're always on the lookout for. So if anybody has anything like that, that's helpful. If we weren't in lockdown, then visiting like having a cup of tea and a chat. It's because some of our people, they don't have a lot of social skills, that and they experience loneliness, and they're trying to, you know, rebuild life, and that's hard, and having someone to come and have a cup of tea would be great. So we'll just store that one for post-lockdown.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jenny, for your time. This is a difficult season for, I'm sure, your staff as well as your clients, yeah, in all sorts of ways. And we thank you for sharing some of that information for our folks so that we can be more potentially helpful and certainly prayerful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye, everyone.